I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So we all know it's not a secret. It's even articles written on it. Everyone knows, I'm sure the NFL knows, the weakest point still on the Minnesota Vikings roster is the defensive side of the ball. Hold on. Let me say it differently. Not the defensive side, but the D line, the trenches, etc., etc. That is the weakest point. That is the weakest point. You hear me? And like I've said all off season, who cares how many skilled players you got, how many skilled positions? If you're weak up front, you have no trenches. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, I think the Vikings are a playoff team, but strictly first round. Strictly first round. I would be shocked if they made it out in the first round because of what I just said. Lack of personnel up front. Lack of personnel up front. You got to have big bodies. You got to have big boys. Now we can sit and talk about shoulda, coulda, wouldas, ifs, Jaquilin Roy, Jerry Tillery, 8-year vet. Will he really ball? Will he really produce? Yeah, he's big. Yeah, he's a big body. Who cares? It's been numerous big bodies who've done nothing for the Vikings, huh? Done nothing, made no noise. You can speak of James Lynch. This man coming off a ACL injury. So you can speak of Harrison Phillips. Really the only big name, if he's a big name, but is he that big ultra dog? Huh? To move bodies, to wreak havoc? I mean, his production was higher last season, but was that enough? Can the Vikings rely on that? Can Brian Flores rely on that production to improve his defense? Hell no, dog. Cap. You hear me? I say cap, homie. Heavy. Now, Brian Flores knows this. I'm sure he knows this. At the end of the day, what will they do about it? What will they do about it, dog, huh? You hear me? What will Brian Flores do about it? Who can they sign? I'm hearing all this talk about sign the cornerback, sign this, sign the receiver, sign Jamal Adams, a washed-up safety. We need to be looking at the trenches. We need to be looking at the trenches, dog. You can only go as far as your trenches, as far as your trenches. You hear me? The interior wins games, homie. Just like defense wins games and championships, the interior wins championships, homie. I got to keep reiterating it, dog, because it's like people don't get it. They think, oh, the Vikings signed all these linebackers, got these cornerbacks, these young rookie cornerbacks. Guess what? If you can't create pressure, your corner is going to be left on a high. They can't be in coverage forever, you hear me? Huh? If you can't stop the run, what does it mean, homie, huh? Heavy. If no one fears you up front, you're cat, weak link, homie. That's why the Vikings continue to get disrespected, you hear me? Disrespected, dog, and it won't change. Teams will line up and try to play bully ball, So what name, what free agent could the Vikings bring in to make a difference, to help out this front, period, dog? Because we all know what it is. It'll be the same outcome, especially in the playoffs. Come on, dog, period. Now, like I said, you got some players, second-year players, third-year players even, who can come in, improve, show their skills, have breakout seasons. But can you rely on that? Do you believe in those guys, most of them? Come on, man. And like I say, your edge is set. Your edge is set for years to come. But that weak spot in that middle, when will it be addressed? Just like the offensive side of the ball. But according to rankings and PFF, they were a top 10 unit. All right, bet. I'm not buying it, but all right. I look at the eye test. But we know for certain, dog, that interior on that D-line is suspect, average, etc., homie, period. And the Vikings need to address the problem, or it's going to be a long season heavy. Let's get into this article, man. Give me a second, man. Let me know how you feel, man. Fire them comments up. You know what it is. You hear me? You know what it is, dog. Fire them comments up. You know exactly what it is. Here we go. ESPN chiming in. ESPN chiming in. Identifies Vikings' main weakness. Thankfully, the 2024 Minnesota Vikings don't have too many roster weaknesses with the regular season 75 days away. You're lying to me, you're lying. Soon, training camp will get underway, and around 5 to 7 roster battles will occur, nominating starters for Kevin O'Connell's third season as the head coach. That's Jerry Tillery. Is he ready, or is he a clown? And according to ESPN, Minnesota's current chief weakness is defensive tackle. Facts. The sports media giant sized up every team's depth chart this week, and the Vikings roster ranked 23rd league-wide, also known as 10th worst, certainly not ideal. What? That's disrespect right there. That's disrespect right there. 23rd league-wide? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But that's what the Vikings earn, right? They earn that disrespect. ESPN's Mike Clay put much of the blame on the DT spot. I understand it. I get it, which is an obvious roster hole as of late June. No cap. Harrison Phillips is the serviceable veteran. Though the 28-year-old struggled to generate much pressure last season, 6 pass rush wins. That's it, Phillips? That's it, Phillips? Are you kidding me, homie? If that's it, I need Phillips out the building. If that's it, I need Harrison Phillips out the damn building, dog. Inexcusable, homie. We need more. We need more. Proves my point exactly. And ESPN ain't lying. Don't get mad at ESPN. They ain't lying. There's not a ton of love, but there's not a ton to love behind him. With journeyman Jonathan Bullard, I question him. I don't believe in Jonathan Bullard. Period. Bottom line, dog. Jerry Tillery, I question him. And Jonah Williams. Who is Jonah Williams? Positioned to handle the bulk of the snaps. Clay explained about defensive tackle as a problem. Facts. For context, these are Minnesota's DTs on the roster as of June 25th. Harrison Phillips, not elite. Is he a superstar? No disrespect. We just talking fact. Let's break it down. Let's be real. Jerry Tillery, definitely not elite. Jonathan Bullard, questions. James Lynch, questions. Jonah Williams, who is this guy? Jaquilin Roy, unproven. Drake Rodriguez, could be a steal, hopefully. Tyler Manoa, who is this guy? Taki Tamani, who is this guy? Jalen Redmond, just picked him up. UFL, UCL, who is he though, dog? That's a whole lot of names, but not much guaranteed production. Facts. And the problem is that the ship has sailed to improve this spot. It's over with. It's over with. Who do you bring in? What can you rely on besides development? What can you rely on besides development? You hear me? The last best hope is Calais Campbell, signed with the Miami Dolphins 2 weeks ago. That's a wrap. Clay added, the team's only draft day investment in the positions was 7th rounder Levi Drake Rodriguez. Drake Rodriguez is a neat story. The Athletic called him Prospect X leading up to the draft. It sounds good, but who is he? But depending on him as the secret fix is an extreme long shot. Facts. The main problem with defensive tackle as the primary roster weakness is that it's no longer fixable this offseason. It's over with. Who's there? What names? It's done. It's over. Finito. Now you have to rely, like I said, on strictly per development, getting those guys ready, getting the maximum out of them that you can. That's it, dog. They are who they are. They are who they are. In theory, General Manager Adolfo-Mensah could have signed a free agent like Christian Wilkins, Leonard Williams, Arik Armstead, or DJ Reader. If he had the Guapino, if this was 2025, you could have got an elite, big body, big dog boy like Christian Wilkins. Heavy boy, but they didn't have the funds, homie, you hear me? Among a handful of others. To nail down the position in Brian Flores' defense, but the Vikings tapped Jerry Tillery instead. Much cheaper, much cheaper. The free agent DT class was deep, and Minnesota mostly set out. Yeah, they had to set out, dog. They had no choice. You hear me? Then, during the drafts, all the promising defensive tackles flew off the board in round 1 and 2, and without a second-round pick, Adolfo-Mensah could only watch. Accordingly, next to Phillips on the 2024 line, Vikings fans will hope Tillery, Lynch, Roy Williams, or Drake Rodriguez bust out into prominence. There are indeed enough bodies for a robust competition. Hypothetically, Minnesota could also fire off a summer trade involving a player like Jonathan Allen of the Washington Commanders, though most of the purple draft capital was used on a deal for edge rusher Dallas Turner during April's drafts. The Vikings haven't employed a high profile D tackle at that spot in Corshton since Kevin Williams 11 years ago. Oh, don't you miss that wall? Don't you miss that Williams wall? Oh, don't you miss that Williams wall? You hear me? You hear me? Don't you miss that Williams wall, baby? Kevin Williams, huh? Big bodies, huh? That boy Pat, huh? But that's my point exactly. You can't get mad at ESPN. ESPN ain't capping and yapping. That's all facts. That's all facts, homie. Like I've been saying, the interior line is still a weak point. The interior line is still a weak point, dog. Now you heard about John. You heard about dude from the Commanders. That's a lot of guapino. You're gonna have to give up a lot of draft capital. You're gonna have to give up a lot of draft capital. And you ask yourself, would that be a smart move? You know, especially with the Viking receiving a lot more funds in the salary cap, being able to maneuver next offseason. So you got draft capital and guapino, draft capital and guapino. Why would you trade? Huh? Because you're going to give up a lot for that boy from the Commanders, huh? Yeah, roll tide full of pride as well. You hear me? But you're going to give up a lot for him, homie. But like I say, it's still a weak point. No big names, no ultimate dogs. Harrison Phillips, the only one, and he's suspect. He's suspect, homie. What you gonna do, Phillips? What you gonna do, big dog? Nothing? Same average mediocre, huh? So that's a big concern for me, and I'm sure a lot of Vikings fans. I'm not comfortable. I don't feel good about the defensive tackles for the Vikings, homie. Period. I don't want to hear nothing about no second-year rookie players or Quillen Roy breaking out. Man, prove it on the field. Prove it on the field, dog. I don't want to hear about no D lineman against just like no O lineman against Huh? Talk to me when the pads come on, when they going up against different teams, when they get physical. When they get physical, you dig me, you get my drift. Talk to me then, homeboy. Until then, shut it up, kill that noise. It's all yapping and capping. It's all yapping and capping, huh? Big SKOL here, man. SKOL Vikes. I want to see them boys win. You hear me? So we're going to see Brian Flores. We seen him do it last season. Got something out of nothing. Made something out of nothing, huh? Can he do it again, homie? You hear me? We're going to see. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be tough, though, baby. Let me know how you feel about it. Do you agree with ESPN? Fire them comments up. Feedback is much appreciated, dog. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. Hit that bell, homie. Big SKOL here. SKOL Vikes forever. Win, lose, or draw. Yeah. 1,000, huh? Yeah.